Hi guys and welcome. Let's learn all about the pen tool. The pen tool is one of the most fundamental tools for any graphic designer. We use it for tracing images, to create outlines, to create shapes, for typography, and for so much more. Your pen tool is located here on the toolbar. If you don't see it, maybe because you had one of the other tools selected, so you have this one, so you just have to right click it or long press and you can get it there. Otherwise you can always press the shortcut P on the keyboard, and with this tool you can basically create or draw anything you would imagine. So to start off, you just click anywhere you want once. You don't pull, and you'll see one line coming across. If you see these handles coming across, it means that you actually pulled, you didn't click. Then you can just press Ctrl or Command Z to undo, or otherwise edit undo, and then once again just click anywhere and don't drag, let go, and you'll see this line coming across. This line is the preview of how the line will look once you click in the next point. If you want this line to be straight or within 45 degrees, then hold down your Shift on your keyboard and you'll see the line will stick to a 45-degree angle. So you can always create straight lines through holding the Shift key. Then you press again once, and you have created a line from point A to point B. Now the line carries on to go on, and then you can keep on pressing and just clicking once and carrying on to create the shape however you want. If you're not happy with any step, say I want to go back to this step where I was there, you can always press Ctrl or Command Z like we showed before, or otherwise edit undo, or you can press on this icon on top here and press undo. That will bring you a step back, and notice that you're still continuing from the part before. So now you can go say there, and as we said, you can press Shift to be within 45 degrees. Now to close this shape, I could leave it an open shape. If I want to close it, you can see the small icon appear there. That shows that I'm going to create a closed full shape. Then you just press it. You have to be within 2 points to that anchor point. We can see how to change it later under preferences. But once you come back to the first anchor point that you created, then you can just click on it, and now the shape has been created. You can always fill it or change the stroke, etc. I'm just deleting this, pressing backspace and delete. Now say I don't want to close the shape, so I created this shape and I want to keep it open. By the way, you can always, as you can see, there's a fill even though the shape is not closed yet. So I'm carrying on to create this shape. The shape is not closed. There is a fill and it's kind of distracting, so you can always go to fill, or otherwise from the panel below, and change it to no fill while you're drawing, and you'll see you can carry on drawing from there. It doesn't stop, so it's quite cool. You can change the thickness of the stroke, and you can continue drawing from where you stopped off with. Now say I'm pleased with this unusual stroke and I want to keep it as a stroke and I want to close it to turn it into a shape. You can always press the escape key and that will escape, so now you can start drawing a new shape. Or otherwise you can press the Alt or Option or Control or Command on a Mac and click. So say I press Control or Command and click, that will also stop my drawing. So I drew this line, now Control click, that will stop it. You could also always choose another tool. So while I'm still drawing, you can see this line is still there. I'm choosing the selection tool, and now that's done. There is another trick, you can actually choose the pen tool. So that's also escapes, and then you're left with a pen tool, or you can press the shortcut P on the keyboard and that will do the same job as choosing the pen tool. So that also escapes it. I'm just undoing a few stages. Now another point is, if let's say I press down a point and say I press it there and I don't want that place to be there, so I could undo it, or otherwise I can just hold the space bar down and I'll be able to move the last point. So that's a very cool thing. Also, say I'm really zoomed close up, or I'm drawing on a very big picture and I'm busy clicking like that, I could move around, pan around holding the space bar while I'm selecting the tool, and you'll see it carries on from the last place I left off. So that's the cool thing to know. Now the next thing is making curves. So till now all of this, as you can see, is all straight lines, and we haven't got to any curves yet. With this pen tool you can also create curves. The way to create a curve is simply by clicking, as you saw there, and now instead of just clicking and leaving, you actually click and drag. So I'm clicking and holding down, and I'm dragging. As you can see, it creates these handles, and now my line, which is there, is curved. And you can curve the line. The next line will also be curved, and you can keep on going like that, just pulling down and creating these curves like that. Then you can join the shape. These handles that you see when you pull and drag are the ones in charge of creating the curve. So the line will never go beyond that line. Now it's like the opposite side, but it will never go beyond the line. The first handle is in charge of the curve before, and the second handle is in charge of the curve after. So this handle here is going to affect this curve, the next curve, and once I pull on, then I have this handle there, and it's going to affect this curve over there. The more I pull and drag, the more I stretch out, the more intense the curve will be. As you can see, it's like very intense. I can stretch it out right far out there. I will bring it very close and the curve will be very insignificant. And as with so many things, if you hold down shift while pulling this curve, then it will change the curve within 45-degree angles, so you can get a very nice circle that way. Whenever I drag out a curve, sorry about that, whenever I drag out a curve, the next line will automatically be a curve, because once I drag out, I get these handles on both sides, so that will make a curve on both the sides. To stop that, you can always change that the next line won't be a curve just by simply clicking on this last anchor. Now you deleted that handle, and then you can create once again these straight lines. Also, when you see these handles, they stretch out equally on both sides. If I want to stretch out only on this side, where my cursor is and not on the other side, I can always press Control or Command. I'm not leaving go the mouse yet. I'm just holding down Control, and that stretches out only this. It's still connected, so both handles are still affecting each other. As you can see, when I turn this one, then that one is turned as well. But when I enlarge in this handle to make the next curve bigger, then only this one will be affected. If I leave go, then I'll be affecting that one as well. And now I can shorten this side only. And then this curve will be less significant once I leave go the mouse. You can see it's a less of a curve there. By mistake, say I did this curve here. I really want this to be straight lines all the way there. How do I change this curve now? You can always temporarily access the direct selection tool by pressing Control or Command and press on this anchor point. Then you can change it there on the icon on top to become a straight anchor point like that, or you can round it from there. Otherwise, you can also pull in the handles. So I'm simply dragging the handle into the anchor point, and that erases the handle. You can do it to one side or both sides, whatever you prefer. And then I'm still pressing the Control Command button, and I can move this around. And once I'm done, I leave go the Control, and I'll come back to the last place. Technically speaking, I can create a circle with only 2 points. So I'm pulling, or let's just pull out. I can pull out there, holding even shift to keep the handle straight. And then I can pull out once I reach there. You can see with my smart guides, I can pull out there. Also, I'm holding down shift to keep it proportionate. Once I've done that, pulling down, then I created a full-on circle just with 2 points. And it doesn't look too bad either. But normally you wouldn't want to do that. Normally for every change of a curve, you would want to create a new point. So if I'm going to change from here to go down there after once I curve it, then I wouldn't just press there and then curve it out, because then the curve wouldn't go so neatly normally. So you press here once there's a change of curve here, then you put out the handles however much you want these lines to curve. You can hold down shift to keep it the handle straight, and then you let go another curve over there. You can hold down these handles as well, something like that. I know it didn't come out very well. Can always change it with the control or command. It came out quite terribly, but normally you would always want to put the anchor point wherever the curve is. And also it's very important to mention not to add too many anchor points, so the least the better. So remember, every curve you add in one anchor point. If I'm going to make waves, then I'm going to create like that and there, say something like that, but not to create too many, because if you create too many anchor points, then the lines become bumpy and they don't look very good. So if I would create that once again with adding a lot of anchor points, then it wouldn't look very good. You can see there it's like isn't as smooth and rounded. The less anchor points, the smoother the line will be. So that's an important point to mention. Now with this anchor point, just get rid of all these shapes here. With this anchor point, you can also add lines. So either to this line which you created, say I created this either full shape or outline only, I can always add, as you can see when I put my cursor on the line holding with this pen tool, you can see this plus sign that will add a new anchor point over there. As you can see, I can add anywhere I want. It's obviously with any shape it works just as well. Once you go to the pen tool, you can click there to add any anchor point onto anywhere on the line. If you want to minus a anchor point, you can just go over the anchor point. You can see the minus sign, that will minus it and it wouldn't break it. So if I minus that one, it will just connect those two. As you can see, it connects these two, and you can minus those very easily. You have to have the shape selected in order for it to work. So there it wouldn't work if I just press it. You can always select it easily by pressing Control or Command and then just select it, and now once again it will work. You could continue drawing from an existing shape. Say I want to carry on from this shape, so you could, even though you see this plus the minus sign there, once you click on it, because it's an open shape, you would be able to continue drawing a line right from where you left off or from where you want to carry on. But now what happens if, let's just press escape there, what happens if I want to carry on from there, or to just draw a line from there, say even if it won't be connected to this shape, and the moment I press on it, then obviously it will delete that anchor point. So how do I connect or draw a line from that point? You can either deselect this object, so I'm pressing down Control, clicking somewhere else, and now you'll be able to click and drag a new line. Even though it's from there, it didn't erase that anchor point. Otherwise, if you have selected this object, you can press Shift and click, then it also wouldn't erase that. Now, like we said before, once I draw this shape, I can hold down Control or Command to temporarily access this direct tool, and then I can move any anchor point I want. I can even delete this anchor point by pressing this icon there, that will move it. Another thing is the Alt button. With the Alt button, let's just create this weird shape there. It could be a shape, it could be only a line. If I hold down Alt or Option, you'll see it changes to this tool. This is the anchor point tool, I think, the last tool there, anchor point tool. It changes to that temporarily while you press down Alt or Option. And with this tool, you'll be able to convert any point into the opposite. So say this point is a straight angle point, like we said, you can go to these icons on top and change it from there, or otherwise you can just simply click and drag there, and that will create new handles for this point. Like there as well, you can just create new handles. If it's already a rounded point, like there, say, you can just click on it once, that will convert it to an angle point. What's also cool is that you can round any straight lines. So say I've got this square, it could be anything. I've got this rectangle here, and with the pen tool, holding down Alt, or you can always go to that tool, but we're trying to do it the quickest and easiest way. Once I hold down Alt to Option, you see these two arrows when I come close to a line. Then you can press down anywhere and just drag the line, and you can see it curves the line itself. So that's a very easy and simple way to curve any line. If you want to get these lines to be straight, you can hold down Shift. That will make it exactly straight or on 45-degree angles. Now with the Alt, you can also break the handle. So like we said, that the handle always is together. You can see on both sides. If I press down Alt to Option, you'll see this handle breaks. So currently now this curve will go according to both these handles, but say I want this curve to go that way, or well, I could do that because it's on the other side, but say I want this curve to go inwards or however I want, you just hold down Alt to Option and you can turn this handle and break the link there, and now you see that this starts a new curve according to this handle. So you can do it there, and then if you want to break this link, you can always press down Alt and that will create like that, etc. Just bear in mind that once you've broken that line, you won't be able to put these two lines together again, and therefore if you are trying to create, say, a circle and you break this line, then it wouldn't look very neat. Even if you bring it back, you can try to make it look good, but it wouldn't look very good once again. So it's best is to break them the least possible, unless obviously you need to. So just to go over what we learned, if you click once and click again, then it will create straight lines. If you click and drag, it will curve the line. If you stand on any line, then it will create a new point. If you stand on any anchor point, it will erase that point. And if we press the Control or Command button, we'll get the direct selection tool temporarily, so we can change any point and move it around. We can also erase or change the roundness from a curve to a straight angle, or from a straight angle to a curve. And with Alt, we can round lines, or we can change an anchor point once again to a curved one or to a straight angle. So as you can see, we've actually been through all these pen tool options just with using those shortcuts of Control or Alt, and you won't need to each time go to this window to get those out from there. I'll give you one last tip under Edit, Preferences, or on a Mac will be under Illustrator, Preferences, Selection and Anchor Display. You would have the tolerance, that's how close do you need to be to make it snap to the anchor point, or how close do you have to go to the anchor point to see it there. And here you can change the size of this anchor point. If it will be very big, the anchor point itself will be very big, and the handles you can change. Also you can change here, enable rubber band for pen tool. Then I'll just show it to you. It will be like Photoshop that you can't see where the next line will be. So I'm just clicking and I don't know where my next line will be. It's basically like Photoshop. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining this video. If you gained anything, please give a like and subscribe. And also it's very important to practice a lot on this pen tool because you will be using it a lot. There is a game to practice it. I placed the link at the comments below, so you can practice there. Adobe Pen Tool, you can just Google it, a game. And also there's a sheet there for you to practice. So just try it out, and the better you're doing it, the more you'll manage to use it, and it will become easy and fun to use. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.